Dang. I see Kyle Petty's live right now, too. That's crazy. Competing against Kyle Petty at the moment. I can't sing like him, but I do go faster. That's for sure. Hope everybody's doing good. Obviously, I'm in a different spot. I am still in Indy. I made my way over to Mr. Terry McMillan's race shop. And Craig Garland, who's tuned in, is over there at the racetrack still. But I moved over here because Terry and Rob Wendland, they told me to just pull over here. We got electricity. Well, their race shop is actually in Larry Dixon's building, which is kind of cool. Larry Dixon has a lot of race shops over here that a lot of the teams rent, a lot of different businesses rent. And so come over here so I don't have to run the generator all week long. But guys have been out working, busting their booty, getting the car ready to go for Indy 2. It's kind of strange. I mean, we're back-to-back races at the same racetrack. Only way I can ever think anything like that ever happened is probably just from a rain out where you came back to a track. But it was an interesting weekend. I'm just going to go and tell y'all. I keep looking over because I'm looking at the comments on my phone. If y'all got any questions tonight, certainly blast them out there, and I'll do my best to catch them and try to answer your questions. So a lot of people tuned in watching, which is awesome. So anyway, so NHRA racing was back this week. It was different. Man, I was excited to be back. Glad to be racing. Glad to go out there and actually drive the Parts Plus car. I mean, it was pretty cool. When I say Parts Plus, it made me think. I got my Parts Plus shirt on, so I need to get that logo in there. Got to get that in there because you never know. So we came up from Drummond's. We drove the toter home up, me, Don, and the dogs, and that's where I'm in now. I'm in our old toter home, and we had no problems driving up. The only thing we had driving up was a crazy pop-up rain shower something. And all these years I've been driving up and down the road, it's very, very rare that I have ever actually pulled over. Normally when it starts raining like crazy, I just keep on rolling. You just slow down, turn your emergency flashers on if you feel it's necessary or whatever the case may be. But it was sunshine, hot, typical, rain thing. We were somewhere in Illinois driving across, and I could see that there was rain up ahead of us. And I mean, it was like raining. When you look down the highway, you can see a pretty long ways down there. It was absolutely pouring down rain, and we're rolling. Of course, everything was clean. That's another thing that never fails to, it's like, You wash your toter home, you wash your little trailer that you haul behind it, and, here it is. It rains, messes up all your work, all the washing, everything you did. So you look good when you roll in the racetrack, But we drove into this rainstorm, and it's raining, and I'm kind of in line with a pile of tractor trucks. We're just rolling along there. Everything's all good. And it's raining. The wind starts blowing really, really hard. And, you kind of got the wheel cranked just to keep the thing going straight. Well, the rain got to the point where it's like it is really hard to see, and the wind is blowing like crazy. But when trees started blowing over and big trucks started pulling over, I joined them. Right off the side of the road, I don't want to say we pulled under an overpass, but we pulled up near one, which kind of had a lot of dirt because it was overpass, kind of blocked it for us a little bit, but it rained really hard, really fast with a lot of wind for just a few minutes. Everybody started kind of easing back out on the highway. We did too, and wasn't 4 or 5 miles. Rain's gone, sun's back out. Of course, now the toter home's all nasty and dirty, but y'all don't care about none of that. You just want to know, kind of how the weekend went. So we get to the racetrack. Everybody's excited. I see even my car chief, Chris Minipace, just tuned in here. Really should have him on here because he could tell you way more about what went on with the race car than what I can tell you. Because, my job is to give him a job, which is going out there stomping on the loud pedal and I don't want to say tearing stuff up, but certainly you know, putting hurting on the thing when you step on the loud pedal. But at any rate, so we decided to make a test run on Friday. We were waiting for it to be as hot as we could possibly get it, pretty much, because the weather looked like it was going to be hot on race day. So I ain't gonna lie to you, I was a little scared, a little nervous. It's been, I think at that point, 138 days or something like that since I'd been in a top fuel car. And I'm sorry my air conditioning kicked on. It's still hot. I'm gonna let the air conditioning run. I'll just talk louder. But car starts right up to burnout. Everything's kind of comes back to what you've done thousands of times. It's definitely hopping on a road and you're excited and nervous about it. But we took off. Thing went just a little ways, clicked it off, and it was like, man, that was awesome. Got to drive the race car again, and it was really, really good. We weren't really totally happy with the run. The numbers weren't great. And Mike and the guys, they decided, okay, we're going to make another one. And boys kind of wanted to practice, servicing the car, because just like me, they hadn't done it in a long time either. But we got it ready to go again, and for whatever reason, I guess we didn't read all the emails we got, and we did not get to make the second run because we missed the shutdown time for testing. So puts us right into Q1 on Saturday, which is also another weird thing. No Friday qualifying, no Friday night qualifying. And Saturday, it was, there were tickets sold, but it was so strange being at Indy. It was like being at a test session, and I almost said a giant test session, but it wasn't even a giant test session, even though I think there were 22 Pro Stock cars and 18 Top Fuel cars, 18 funny cars, something like that. It was just weird. There were people there, and I feel like I read somewhere, or maybe Donna read somewhere, where there was allowed of 2,500 fans there. And 2,500 people is a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of people. But at Indy, 2,500 people is just, it doesn't take up a lot of room. I mean, like towing the car to the staging lanes, it's easy. Where usually, you got to be really careful, maybe toot the horn a little bit. Like, hey, we're trying to get the car to the staging lanes. But 2,500 people at a place that's that big is just, it was just strange, and it felt very strange to not to be able to stand back at the ropes and talk to people and, sign autographs ahead of time and put signed autographs out there out front. Like I say, the whole vibe was just different. It did feel like a test session that people were allowed to come to. And anyway, I kind of got off the subject there. So Q1, we go up there, a lot of cars in front of us. We're having trouble. It was pretty hot out. I don't remember what the track temp was or none of that, but, Mike, Chris, and Kenny, and Justin, and Austin, Levi, and I'm going to forget somebody, Billy, John Rep, all those guys were just so on it. Justin was I said Justin. I'm getting the help from Donna. She's back here. I said Justin. Okay. And I'm so proud of them. I mean, they did such a good job. But the thing starts right up. It sounds great. We go right down through there. I think we went 386, 314, where everybody else was having trouble. And it's crazy, but it worked out that was the number one qualifying spot. We were the number one qualifier from the first qualifying session. And, that obviously pumped me up and pumped everybody else up. And the way the qualifying system works within HRA, they take the first run is based on points, and that's how they decide, the worst in points goes to the front, the best in points goes to the back. So we were kind of in the middle somewhere or another on the first session, but we qualified number one in the first session. So qualifying session number two, that puts us at the back of the line, which is a pretty big advantage. Couple of reasons. Mainly, it's the opportunity, especially when it's the last session of the day, the weather will be getting better, because it's starting to get later in the day, it's cooling down, and, so it's like, all right, that gives you a better opportunity. The next advantage of being at the back of the line is you get to see what all the other cars do, and like I said, the first session, everybody was having trouble. Well, a storm was coming in, kind of like the storm I was talking about driving up to the racetrack. We had a storm coming in, very similar. All of us were looking at our phones. Everybody's got apps on their phones for weather, and me and Chris and Doug, and we've got this app called Rain Aware, and it was such a quick moving storm coming that Rain Aware would say storm coming in 7 minutes. And a minute later, you could look at it and it would say a storm an hour, 20 minutes. But it was obvious from outside that there was something coming, and it was coming pretty fast, which also means it was cooling off really fast, which also means that the guys were having to make a lot of adjustments. And Kenny was in the clutch nonstop. I don't even know what they were doing. I mean, adding weight, moving the lever stops, all those things. And NHRA was trying to rush us to get in the car, and we kind of had a laugh about that. They were yelling to get in the car, and there were still, 14 cars, 15, 16 cars in front of us that needed to run before it was time for us to run. And Tony Schumacher was the number 2 qualifier at that time, so we were going to run side by side. And so we were kind of laughing, not making fun of the NHRA by no stretch, but the guy in the staging lanes, we know when we need to get in. We know how much time it takes for us to get in. And this storm is coming in a hurry, and it's getting dark out. And I mean, like really, really dark. It was definitely rain on the way. Get in the car, start up, burn out, back up. Everything is like we are ready. I mean, because I'm not kidding. When I say the guys did a ton of work, they literally changed the supercharger pulleys on the car once with, I think, 2 pair in front of us, changed it again with 1 pair in front of us. And it takes a little time to change those things. And I'm sitting in the car going, man, I hope they hurry up and get this done, but they did. They always do. But we do this burnout. We're pulled forward. We're ready to go. I see an NHRA official doing the shut it off. I get on the radio, and, you always listen to the officials, but at the same time, you're not going to make that final reach up there and shut the fuel off on the car, because these things will not shut off. If you reach up there and cut the ignition off, if they're hot, you've done a burnout, they're not really going to cut off. But, you pay attention to the NHRA official and hop on the radio and say, hey, they're telling us to shut it off. So I didn't, it's like, do we have a leak? Do we have something going on? And then I see, Mike is asking, what's going on, and the guy does the fingers thing. It was raining at the far end of the racetrack, and unfortunately, long story short, there we did not get to make our last qualifying run. So I mean, we ran Indy 1 on 1 qualifying run, and so Tony or I, neither one got the opportunity to make our second qualifying run and move up. That's a rule that was changed. I don't even know when, a few months ago or whatever. Hey, I see Rob Wedlin's on here. Rob I've been hanging out with him part of the day today. He's been making all kind of cool parts, but Rob and Terry have been involved with that, where they didn't get to make their run. It's happened to a lot of teams, but the rules changed. Used to, the rule was none of the rounds counted if everybody didn't get the opportunity to make the run, but that's not how it is anymore. And it is a rule. That's how it is. But, that's very disappointing and expensive for the team. I mean, when you start these things up, you burn a lot of fuel. You smoke the clutch, basically. You're not going to put that clutch pack back in there, because you did a burnout on it. And, we didn't get the opportunity to make that run. So we roll into Sunday with basically, 1 run that we had made. And instead of wherever we were, I think we ended up qualified number 6 off of our first qualifying run. And it was kind of an old throwback. A lot of you guys may not remember this, but it's a guy back out here racing again. His name's Doug Foley, and Doug Foley was a tough competitor back in the IHRA days. He and I raced against each other a whole lot, and that's who I had first round. And so, you know, it was kind of like, all right, I've raced with him many, many times before. So we've, we got after it there, you know, and it run pretty good. We went 384, 314, dropping a cylinder about a second into the run, but it made it, you know, the wind light come on. So we were pretty happy, really happy about getting the wind light, you know, first time in whatever it is, 140 days at that point. But got the wind light. The downside to it was running the car that far with a hole out. It was not happy. It broke a rod. Lucky, you know, for everybody on the Parts Plus team, you know, it did not exit the block. It made a little dent in the block, stayed inside, didn't make a mess on the racetrack. So, you know, the guys got after it, changed the motor, stuck another motor in the car, got the thing ready to go. Second round, we had, I'm sorry, I got to laugh at this. Donald J. Trump, Clay Milliken, both live at the same time. And this is from Steven Berger. He says, sorry, Trump, watching Clay. Well, I was worried because when I first logged on, it was Kyle Petty live. And I was worried about going live against Kyle Petty. And I guess now I'm going live against the president and Kyle Petty at the same time. But we got a lot of people watching. And I'm kind of digressing here and not talking about what I got on here to talk about, which was basically, you know, what a freaking awesome weekend it was, you know, to be able to be back at the racetrack. While it was weird with not a lot of fans there, but we get to do it again this weekend. But anyway, so we put a motor in, got ready for second round, had what we termed, I think, I don't even know who come up with this term, but long story short, the thing dropped the cylinder at the step of the throttle. Racing Antron Brown, you know, one of the best in the business, no two doubts about it. They had been struggling. They had not made a good run all weekend. They had won first round going, I think, 399, belt off, hole out, whatever the case was there. He made a great run against us, and we had a cylinder out from the get-go. Mike pushed the button. The crew chiefs have a device that if they see something wrong with the car, they can shut you off. Well, I knew I was getting my hat handed to me. I saw Antron out there in front of me a pretty good ways, and I was just before shutting it off. It hadn't even went very far. The thing put the hole out, but immediately. So, you know, we got the opportunity to get all that figured out, and I know that Chris and everybody, they've been working hard. They've been at the track all day yesterday. I went over for about this long. They've been there all day today. They are just on it, and I was just really happy with the opportunity to go, and we get to do it again this weekend. You know, keeping our fingers crossed that you know, we'll get to go to Denver in a couple weeks and just keep this thing rolling. You know, it's a crazy world out there, but you know, we all love drag racing. I know, you know, the TV I was told was really, really good. Hopefully all that was great. And, you know, I got to tell you this one last story before I get off here tonight. So the way most of the Top Fuel or in the Nitro teams operate is you get to the race trailer 4 hours 4 hours before the car runs. So if it's a noon start, you get there at 8. And I am not a morning person, none whatsoever. Well, because of NASCAR television schedule versus our schedule, getting us on Big Fox, all those sort of things, we had a 9 a.m. start. 9 a.m. start, which means be at the race trailer at 5 a.m. And I like to get up in the morning, drink some coffee, watch a little TV, maybe check some emails. So I typically get up 2 hours before I leave. And because I also like to work out a little bit on race day, not like a crazy workout, but just work out just to get things going, get things moving. So that truly would have meant get up at 3 a.m. Thank goodness Chris made the decision that we are going to do the 6 a.m. They kind of had the guys stayed and had everything a little closer to ready. And so I set my alarm for 4:30 in the morning. Did not like getting up that early, but I did. And I did get a little coffee in me, got a little workout, and it was just absolutely a great day, y'all. I mean, that's all I can tell you. Getting up that early or not. I think this weekend, I'm not sure, but I think it's a 10 a.m. start this weekend. So still got to get up early. That's all there is to it. I don't care. They could tell us it's a 6 a.m. start, long as we get to, keep going at it. I'm looking at some of the comments here. I see Marty's asking, how tough was it to wear a mask all weekend in the hot weather? It is definitely hard. I mean, you think about all those guys working on that car, hot as that thing is. Marty, I know you know exactly how hot they get. It's definitely, it's tough. I mean, I did a lot of mask testing. I kept trying this mask. Donna had bought a lot of different masks for the weekend so that we would, be able to have a clean mask every day. And I ended up wearing a Hanes mask, and so she made fun of me that I was wearing a mask that was made out of tidy whities. Very possible, but it was more breathable, I guess is the term for it. But it was the right thing to do. Everybody's got to wear their mask. The fans had to wear their mask, and we got to do everything that we're supposed to do so that we can keep racing. And if they tell me I have to wear 2 masks and I got to race with my eyes shut, I'll have no problem doing that because I'm just glad to be doing it. So that's it was tough wearing the mask, and I know it really was for the guys working on the car. That is definitely a tough thing. But guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. We will get to do this again next Tuesday. Indy again this weekend, and next Tuesday I'll be back at home, and we'll do a giveaway some Parts Plus shirt because we only have one computer with us. No giveaways tonight. Sorry about that. Last little thing I want to tell you that was fun, and you can go to my YouTube channel and check it out. But Zach Sackman, which is good friends with Antron Brown, was in the final of Top Dragster. Danny Nelson, who was a big help in early part of my sportsman drag racing career. Good friend, also reigning world can't get it out. World champion Top Dragster racer from this past season. He was there. They did a Top Dragster race, and so Zach and Danny were in the final. Antron Brown's on one side, I'm on the other, and so I walk over and I tell Antron, I'm like, I got the car on this side right here, and I said we should make a little bet, and I said, let's bet. He said, how much you want to bet? And I said, how about $20? And so we bet $20. Danny had the better light, gave up the finish line down there, lost $20. But I'll bet on Danny Nelson any day of the week. He's not got the number one on the side of his car for nothing. But that was pretty fun to get to go up there and watch those guys race that final round. You can go to, like I said, go to my YouTube channel. You can check all out. You can also, we did a lot of behind the scenes stuff this week, which was fun. I know I probably irritated all the guys walking around with my phone video and everything, but it was fun. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, see you next Tuesday. But obviously, I'll be posting a lot of stuff on Facebook this week along the way. So can't wait. Go stomp on that loud pedal of the Parts Plus car at Indy number 2. See ya.